Hello everyone, my name is Elijah Comfort. So I'll be teaching you how to design this beautiful flyer, and trust me, you're going to like it because I'm going to keep everything very simple and understandable. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, just hit the subscription button and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to notify you when next I post a new video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for supporting my channel. And I want to tell you that whatever I teach you here, try and practice it. And if you have any question when you're practicing it or after you are done with it, just tell me at the comment section and I will be there for you. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So for us to design this beautiful flyer, the first thing we are going to do is to click on our create new. This is create new here. You click on it. It will bring out a place where you set your workspace. So we are going to be using 1080 by 1080 pixels. 1080 by 1080, 1080 by 1080. Remember to put it in pixels, and our resolution will be 300. Then don't forget to set your color mode to RGB color because we are using it for a social media design, and our background color will be white. Then you click on create. Now you've created your workspace. The next thing you're going to do is to make sure that you import your background. So I'll just click here, look for my background anywhere I save it. I save all my images and backgrounds under documents. So I'll click on documents. It's trying to load and bring out my recent backgrounds and images. So the next thing is to locate my background anywhere it is. And this is my background. I'll click on it and drag it to my Photoshop. So I need to click here. I will now click here, but then I want to make sure that my background is fitting in perfectly into my workspace. So I will hold Alt and Shift key and I will now drag it up. Then I'll click on this arrow when I'm done. So the next thing I'm going to do is to put a guideline, that is a rule that will help us to align all our work. So I'll click on view, scroll down to new guide layout. You can set your own here. You can set it anyhow you want depending on what you are working on. Okay, mine is 0.2, so I'll click on OK. Then the next thing is that I want to bring in the image I'll be using, some of the materials I'll be using. So I'll go to where I saved my work. I will now click on it and drag it to my Photoshop. So now I put it on my Photoshop. As you can see, it has a background. So I don't want it to have a background. I'll just come here. I'll click on my magic wood tool. When I click on magic wood tool, I'll come here and select object. So now I've selected the object. What I'll do is to click my Ctrl J, duplicate it, then I'll come down to this one, this first one, and delete it. Once you delete it, you see that the background is gone. So now that the background is gone, there are still some little things on it that we need to remove. So for us to remove it, I'll click on my polygon lasso tool, click on it, then come here, zoom. Remember to zoom whenever you want to do this kind of thing. So I'll click here, because when you zoom it, it helps you to see what you're actually cropping. I'll click on delete. I'll delete it. Then I'll click Ctrl T to deselect. Ctrl T is used to deselect something. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to resize it to however I want it to be. But then I want to put a guideline that will help me to align it very well. So I've put these two guidelines just where I want this to be. So it's bigger than it. I want it to just be only there. So now I've placed it just how I want it to be. The next thing I'll do is just to click here, and then I'm going to import my image. I'll click on this place, and then this is the image I use. I think this is it. I'll click on it and drag it to my Photoshop, bring it here. So I'll click here. As it has a background, I would like to remove the background on it. So for me to remove the background now, I'll come and select my magic wood tool again. Then I'll click on select object. So now I've selected object. I'll click Ctrl J to duplicate it. Then I'll delete the image down. I'll click on delete. Then I'll resize this. So I'll resize this to anyhow I want it to be. So I want to make it bigger. So now we've placed our image just how we want it. The next thing we are going to do is to also bring in some of the materials we want to use for this design. And one of them is, let me look for anyone and just use, okay, let's use this. I'll click on it, drag it to my Photoshop, and here is it. So then I'll click on this my magic tool again, then click on select object. So I will now duplicate it, Ctrl J. I will now click on this and delete, then leaving the one that does not have background. Then I'll resize it. I want it to be small. It's still big. So it's okay here. So let's give it a drop down shadow. You double click on it. When you double click on it, you come here, you click on drop down shadow. So let's change the color to black. I want it to be black. I want to be seeing what we are doing. So let's change the angle it is. So let's make it bigger. So I think this is okay now. You click on OK. Then the next thing is also to bring in another element. So click here. Which one are we going to use now? Okay, let's put this. Let's put our subscription button so that people can subscribe to our channel. Then I'll still select my magic tool. Click on select objects. Remember, I've downloaded all of this from Google and then save it on my laptop. Okay, so I'll click on my Ctrl J, then I'll delete this, the down one, having only this that doesn't have a background. So I will now resize it to the size I want it to be. So I will also like to give it a drop down shadow. I'll double click on it. And click on my drop down shadow. Remember, the first one we did, we set everything. So there is no need of us going back to go and set it, except if we want to change something. So but I think it's okay like this. So you now click on OK. The next thing we are going to do is to bring another element. So let's bring in this. Then I'll click here. I'll still select my magic tool and click on select object. And resize it to any size I want it to be. So I want it to be very small because I'll be putting it up here. So I want it to be small, like small. It's serving like a logo, you know. I just want once people look at it, they say, yeah, it's YouTube, it's a YouTube flyer, you know. So the next thing I'll be doing now is I don't want, you see, our image has some kind of scrub on it, so I don't want people to see that in the middle here. So because of that, I'll click on the background. I'm talking about our background. It has some, it's not a plain background, but I want the middle to be plain. So I'll click on the background itself, and then I'll go and create a new layer. This is where I am. I'll click on it. I've created a new layer now. Then I'll come here and look for my brush tool. When you click on your brush tool, but make sure that the color here is white, then you can now come here and don't bother, it's not going to affect anything here because remember to select the right layer, which is selecting the background itself. So now I've made the background to be plain. Then I'll click here, and then I'm done with the background. So I'll be bringing in another element now. So but I want to give this a drop down shadow. I'll double click on it. It will bring out this. If you don't want to double click, let me teach you another way you can do this. If you don't want to double click on it, you can just come here, right click, it will bring out this, and then you scroll up to blending options, you click on it, and then this shows, you click on your drop down shadow. You can set it to any level you want, okay, but I didn't want to set it. Remember, later on I'll still come here to change some things because it's still too deep, but since I'm still using it for other things I would like to use for this particular design, so I'll leave it that way. Then when we are done, we can change the settings. I'll click on OK. Then I'm going to bring a subscription, something to make them subscribe, to tell them to subscribe here. So I'll click on here, I'll go and select, I'll look for it. I think this will be better. I'll just click on it, drag it to my Photoshop, and then I'll drop it. So I'll still remove background on it. I'll click on my magic wheel tool, then select objects. So I'm going to now Ctrl J, I'll duplicate, I'll delete. Yeah, you can see even the finger is out because I don't want it. So I'm going to resize it now. I want it to be small, but not too small though, but I want it to be small. I want it to be a bit small. So I think it's okay like this. So let's give it a drop down shadow, double click on it, or you can use the other method I showed you. Then click on your drop down shadow, click on OK. So it already has a drop down shadow. The reason why I always like to give it a drop down shadow is just to make it blend with the background, okay. So I'm going to bring another thing here. So I'll click here. Let me use this, click on it, drag it to my Photoshop. Then I would like to remove the background, select objects, and I don't want to make use of everything here. I just need only this. So because of that, I'll come here, I'll select this, I'll click on this, I'll click, I've deleted that one. I just want to clean everything, anything that is not. So now I'm done deleting the ones I don't want. I'll click on my Ctrl D and then go back here. So this is the only one left. So I want to give it a drop down shadow too. I want it to have a drop down shadow. I'll double click on it and click on drop down shadow. I'll click on OK. So the next thing now is to put in our text. But before we put our text, I want to add something again. So I'll click here. As you can see, our design is made up of so many things, not really text though. So I'll click here because I just want people to look at it. The moment they look, you know, before you make any design, make sure that you are fulfilling the purpose of that design. Okay, so just like this, I want people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that is why I'm using something that has to do with YouTube on almost everything on my design, so that the moment people looked at it, even without reading it or going through it, they've known what I want. Okay, my Ctrl J, delete this. So the same thing we did before, we're still going to do it again because I don't want these two. I don't want these two. So I'll click here. I'll select it out. I'll click on delete. I'll come here to delete. I'll come here, delete. Then my Ctrl D to deselect it. Then I'm left with only this now. So I'm going to resize it. Just the way I want it to be. But as you can see, the way it's being positioned, so I don't want it to be that way. Let's still reduce it a bit because I really want it to fit in. So I want to give it a drop down shadow. Double click on it, my drop down shadow. Then I'll click on OK. So now the only thing left is just to add our text. So we'll be adding our text now. I'll click on my text tool. This is my text tool. I'll be typing, so I'll be back when I'm done typing. I want to type subscribe to my. So now I'm done typing. I want to make it small. I don't want it to be this big, so I'll come here. Imagine it's 18, so let's just make it 8. I don't want it to be big at all. Let's come here, let's make it -10. So make sure that you align your work very well. It's a very important factor to consider when you are making any design. So then I'm going to type again. I want to type YouTube channel. I'll be back once I'm done typing. So now I'm done typing. I want to make it big. Remember, the name of the font we'll be using throughout our design is Montserrat. So I want to use Montserrat bold. Okay, so if you don't have it, try and install it into your system. So let's make it big. Let's make it 16. I think this is okay. Then let's make sure that it's properly aligned. But I don't like the spacing between them, so let's reduce it to 16. It's now okay this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to put something like a shape here. So I'll click here, get my shape tool, my triangular tool. Let me just use triangle. Then I'll draw a triangle here. So I would like to change the color here. Click here, then let me select a particular color. Let me use this, or should I use something darker? Let's use this. Click on OK. Then I want to give it some kind of shaping. So here you just come here, you drag it this way. Okay, so I think it's okay like this. So what I'll be doing now is to make sure that it's properly aligned. So I think it's okay like this. So I want to give it a drop down shadow too. So I'll double click on it on the layer part. Remember, it's on the layer. I'll click on drop down shadow. It already has one. I've given it one. So the next thing, I want to put a text inside it. So I want to put it, now I want to put a text. I'll just click here. Then I'll be typing the name of my channel. So now I'm done typing. I'm going to change the color because I don't want it to be black. If it is black color, it won't show well. So I want it to be white. So now I've changed the color. So let me align it with this. So you hold your shift key, click on the graphics comfort with type, and then click on the rectangle. When you click on the two, you come here, you align them. You use this tool. When you click here, you also click here to make sure that it's properly aligned with the shape. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to type again. We are going to type. So we're going to be typing subscription is totally free. So I'll come here, I'll click on my text tool, I'll click here, then I'll type. So now I'm done typing. You can't see it because it has it's having the same color with the background. So I've changed the color now. You can see what we just typed. So it has some mistake on it because I wasn't saying it, I was just typing. So I will just click on my text tool, I'll click here, I'll put what is missing. Is there any other thing you're making mistake? No, I don't think so. So now we are going to make it smaller because it's too big. Remember, we are still using Montserrat, so we are going to make it smaller. So let's use here, let's make here 75 minus 75. I think that's better. It's still big, so let me make this 7. Since I don't have 7 down, let me just type it 7. So now it's okay. So I want to type free now. I'll click here and just type. So but I want it to be very big. I want it to be big. So let me make it 18. Let me give it space in between it by making it 17 here. No more minus 17. So I'll bring it down. I think this is perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. So what next? What next haven't we done? What is remaining in our design? So I think this, let's keep it. Well, I want to rotate it a bit. I think it needs to be well placed. I think it's better like this though. I think it's better like this. So we are done with our designing, but one thing you should never forget is once you are done designing a particular thing, look around it, check it, know something, ask yourself what is not well placed here. So like here, we need to reduce the distance on our drop down shadow. So I'll double click on it, click on the drop down shadow. So the distance, we are going to reduce it. I think this is now okay. We click on OK. So we are done with our designing. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to notify you when next I make any video. And if you have any question, don't forget to ask me at the comment section. I'll be there to answer you. Thank you.